Hello everybody, it takes Azelfie here, and today I'm doing something a little bit different. I wanted to do not a Showdown Live, but a Showdown Replays. Basically what this allows me to do is, because currently I'm not that high on the ladder, so I thought I was getting a lot of games that I just didn't think were interesting enough to post alone. So I figured I'd take some of the best replays out of a session I played and post-commentate over them. And it allows me to give a little bit more depth into what the players could have done at the time. And I don't know, I just think it fits my commentary style just a little bit better. I feel like I'd be better when I'm around other people, but by myself I feel like I'm better with the post-commentary type of stuff. Anyways, just to talk about my team briefly, it's Incineroar, Heracross, Crocodile, Celebi, Doublade, and Rotom. The Incineroar is heavy duty boots, it's a pivot set, Heracross is Scarf. Crocodile is a lead soft sand build, Nasty Plot protects Celebi, SD Doublade, and then just Rotom Wash. The entire reason I built this team was because I started just wanting to use Incineroar and test out like Party Shot plus heavy duty boots and see how well it was doing in the meta. And I combined that with Heracross because I thought Incineroar would bait out and punish a lot of the stuff that Heracross might struggle to clean up against. And yeah, it's sort of like a bulky offense team. The main issue with the team is that it lacks any sort of mid-game wall breaker. So I'm really reliant on Nasty Plot Celebi to be my mid-game wall breaker more than a sweeper, which is very interesting. I could have switched this up. Like, I could have gone Scarf Crocodile for speed control, and maybe like Guts Flame Orb Heracross is my wall breaker, and then I will have a Stealth Rocker, and I'd have to change some things, and honestly, I'm fine with how the team is right now. It's probably not the best, because like I said, in the mid-game it struggles, and you want to find your win condition in preferably Heracross, but you can sometimes just stake your opponent to death as well. And yeah, these were just two replays that I thought were pretty good to commentate over, so let's just jump right into it. My opponent has Starmie, Skarmory, Blissey, Tyranitar, Flygon, and Weezing. At the time, I really didn't know what the Flygon was going to do. It felt weird, because I'm so used to Oras Flygon, which was primarily a defogger, but there's a Starmie on the team, which probably tells me the Starmie is a spinner, because it's what Starmie does best. So I didn't really know what they expect from Flygon, and I was also a bit afraid of Blissey doing teleport stuff, but granted, it doesn't really get too many free pivots on my team. If I Hydro Pump my Rotom, it could get a pivot off of that, I suppose. But for the most part, the other four members are physical attackers, and Celebi doesn't have the greatest matchup into Blissey, but it can Nasty Plot and deal some damage if it needs to. I decided to just lead Rotom, because even if he wanted to, what's it called, go to Flygon by Volt Switch, Flygon isn't going to take like a Hydro Pump isn't going to want to absorb a Hydro Pump, and I could Volt Switch out on mostly everybody else. I just thought it'd be fine. So that's what I do. He does go ahead and lead Skarmory, so like I said, I'm just going to click Volt Switch here. I want to see what he does. I go for Will-O-Wisp first, just in case if he wants to go Flygon or T-Tar. The reason for this is because I'm kind of low ladder. He's only a 1,200 player, and I'm not even like 1,300 at this point. So I don't really know the skill level of these players. So I go with this middle of the ground non-committal play, which is just throwing out a Will-O-Wisp. And in turn, I get Toxic, or no, he throws out Spikes, my bad. And I go ahead and just defog it out. Here, I'm a bit afraid of like a teleport, so I throw out a Will-O-Wisp. But honestly, it probably wasn't the best play, just because I kind of forgot that Blissey has Natural Care, and the punishment for that is that I get Toxic, which means that my Rotom is on the counter every time I was sand. After I get Toxic, I decide, hey, I kinda need to get out, so I go for the Volt Switch. The crit doesn't matter. I go into Crook. The Crook, it felt like the best middle of the line play. It invites Starmie in, and potentially Weezing, but like, I don't have a great switch into Starmie anyways, and I felt like no matter what I did, I was gonna give Starmie a free switch in, if I tried to stay in with Rotom, which wasn't a good idea, because it just got Toxic, and I wasn't gonna do much to this Blissey. So he goes for Aromatherapy, actually, curing the burn on the Skarmory. So out of these first 4 turns, I essentially accomplished nothing besides getting my Rotom toxic, which is a shame. I go for the knockoff here, in case if he wants to swap into Skarmory or Flygon. And this is nice because, as we see, it removes his Rocky Helmet, and that gives me a bit more leeway to attack him with all my physical attackers. Here I go for a taunt, because I don't think he's the type of... I didn't suspect him to body press slash Iron Head slash Brave Bird me right away. I just thought it was pretty safe. I thought it was a safe read. 3 out of 4 moves, it would just, block. And then after that, I go to Doublade, because I'm almost certain he's going to go for the body press, which he does. I take this opportunity to Sword Stance, but in hindsight, basically what I was thinking was I didn't know if this player was going to stay in and try to challenge me or something, like just wait for the taunt wear off to roost, stall me or something. So I was like, okay, I need to take this opportunity to Sword Stance because my best move against him is Close Combat. I'm not ready to Shadow Claw. This turns out to be slightly a misplay, I think in hindsight, because I feel like it's a bit more obvious he wouldn't have stayed with the Skarmory. He was just gonna throw away way too much momentum if my Doublade ever killed his Skarmory. He was in a really, really tough spot where Shadow Sneak could potentially kill Flygon, and he'd be forced to take a lot of damage on T-Tar or lose momentum somewhere. So this is a good play on him, and I should have read that and just gone for the straight Iron Head, but I did go for the Sword Stance. This is also misplayed by me. I didn't know if I was going to outspeed him or not. I'm not running that much speed, so I was probably like... It was probably guaranteed that he was going to outspeed me. But I'm like, okay, I'll throw out the idea of Iron Heading him. He goes for the Haze, which is sort of like a middle-of-the-line play for him. But he also has Will-O-Wisp, and I don't know if he's ever revealed Fire Blast. So, like, if he had it, he should have definitely gone for that and just weakened my Thane right away. But he goes for Haze instead, and that just, like, he takes 70% for that, and that's a huge shame for him. Now I'm like, oh, I screwed up, and I have to go to my Incineroar. I'm expecting, like I said, either Will-O-Wisp or Fire Blast at this point, and so Incineroar swaps safely into both of those moves. He goes for the Will-O-Wisp, and now he's in a bad spot again, so I predict he's gonna switch out. I'm really not sure what he wants to switch out into. Nothing really wants to take a knockoff. So I'm just gonna go ahead and toss a Flare Blitz out. Just because... Sorry, I got my thoughts confused. I decide that I'm going for Flare Blitz because having this removed makes the Heracross have a much easier time sweeping due to its Choice Scarf and Moxie. So I go for Flare Blitz, and I get a lucky bird here. And the bird actually challenges him to switch out because he kind of doesn't want to stay in and possibly lose momentum to a parting shot in exchange for damage on this. I don't know. He goes for a swap here, which I'm still not sure if it's the right play or not. I just don't think I understand that situation enough to comment enough about that. But he goes into Starmie here, and maybe he was expecting I was Choice Band or something. I have no clue. I don't know. I just get offensive momentum on the Starmie, and I go into my one defensive check. Outside of, like, I guess Zelfie too. But like I said, I need to preserve Zelfie to break his stuff in the minigame. So I go into Rotom here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and Volt Switch out. Oh, wait, yeah. I go for Hydro Pump because I was predicting Flygon. It's as simple as that. I get punished for it through Sand Damage and Toxic. It's whatever. I'm just gonna go for Volt Switch here. I'm a bit afraid of a Teleport, so I decided to throw in the Heracross, because Heracross I'm pretty sure can challenge everything if it needs to. But he goes for Aromatherapy instead. It cures the bird off the T-Tar, and that's pretty much it. I go for Knockoff here. I was predicting Wheezing, and I don't have the greatest coverage to hit it. I could have CC'd Mega Horde, but I go for a Knockoff just to remove its recovery item, which I thought was nice, because like I said, I want to weaken this for Heracross explicitly. He goes for Pain Split here, which I was not expecting. Maybe it's just because, like, I don't think he should be running 3 support moves, especially since Haze and Will-O-Wisp seem a bit redundant. So I guess this throws off the Fire Blast on the table, but that doesn't really come into play later. He Pain Splits me, so I'm like, whatever. I'm just gonna go ahead and try to take my kill now, and double Flare Blitz, outspeed, kill it, and now the Wheezing is gone. The only thing that's really stopping me now from clicking CC is potentially a Scarf Flygon, which I don't know what the Flygon set is. I don't have enough experience with Flygon in SSUU. And the Starmie, which doesn't want to take a CC either, but it can. Now, he goes into Starmie here, and I'm thinking, okay, I really don't need Incineroar anymore. It'd be nice against the Skarmory, but I have other ways of dealing with it. Celebi we can probably kill it with a Nasty Plot plus Psychic. Doublade can challenge the setup on it. Heracross is a bit iffy, but it's probably fine. And then Rotom-W switches out. So, oh yeah, and Crocodile taunts on it. So I'm not afraid of Skarmory at all. And that's the only mob this helps against. So I decided to just throw my Incineroar in order to grant me tempo. But he misses the Hydro Pump, which allows me to get a complete KO on him. And this really turns the tides, because Starmie was the Pokemon that I had the hardest choice to switch it into. And especially if that thing was choice specs, like, that would have ruined my life. Anyways, we go into Rotom and Flygon here, and this is what throws me off. He goes for Dragon Dance. It's not that I don't know that Flygon has Dragon Dance. It's just, I played a lot of Gen 6 when Flygon didn't have Dragon Dance. So, Flygon having Dragon Dance here and actually using it, like, gave me a spook. I'm like, oh, this is bad. I still think I'm fine for this hit, because I believe my Rotom's physically defensive. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm like, okay, I'll just throw a Will-O-Wisp here. It's probably Lumberry. I had this sneaky suspicion in my head that it was Lumberry and it wasn't going to do anything. And as it turns out, he goes for another DD, and I go for the Willow, and yeah, it just cures. And now I'm struggling against a +2 Flygon, and I'm like, crap, this sucks. So I take this time, I'm like, Incineroar, you've done your job, and you're going to do it again. You're going to come in here and intimidate him, which is fine. He goes for a Dragon Claw and KOs it, and this allows me to go into Crocodile. He still has a speed benefit against me, which means that Heracross will not be able to easily revenge kill it, but now he's back to neutral attack, which is fine by me, and I can go ahead and just throw out another knockoff. I'm not fast enough to taunt it, so I don't go for that, and I don't want to like set up in my face and not be afraid, because my best stab is knockoff against him because of Luntate, and that just sucks. I go for Stealth Rocket, he goes for Whirlwind. I'm not too exactly sure why he did this, but I'm getting Rocks up just to, you know, annoy the Blissey, even though it's leftovers and not heavy-duty boots. Or, I guess it makes it better, too. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyways, he Whirlwinds me out into Zelfie here, and this is where I'm like, okay, well, I could set up a Nasty Plot, or he could Whirlwind me out. I don't know if he has Brave Bird on his set or not. I mean, I suspect he has Roost. He has to have Roost. So, I'm not afraid. The worst that happens here is he goes for a Whirlwind, and I get swapped out into something else. But I need a setup in order to threaten this in the first place, so I just go for Nasty Plot. And in a turn of events, he goes for Spikes, which I think is an absolutely horrible play. It's just way too late for Spikes to be effective, in my opinion. Not only that, but you're sacrificing tempo against this LB. You don't know what set this is running. It could have been a lot of sets, probably. I don't know how flexible Zelfie is, or if it's a one-trick pony in Nasty Plot. But still, like, Nasty Plot is still on the table, and I guess Sword Stance as well, and you should just Whirlwind it out, just to be sure. If not, you could at least, like, Roost and build up your HP, but Spikes is, like, we're already past the mid-game, I feel, and this is just where his team crumples. Psychic is a Oko. I know this is Scarf as well, just by the way he brought it out. It bring out Blissey and try to threaten me out with Toxic. So here's where the Protect comes in. Like I said, this is my mid-game breaker, so having Protect here allows me to scout out a Revenge Killer, particularly the slower Revenge Killers, and bait out whatever move they want to go for. He goes for Crunch here. I'm like, okay, this gives me the knowledge. I was pretty sure he was going to go for Crunch anyways, but whatever. I go into Crook, and I get the Intimidate off. Now that's doing no damage. He goes into Flygon here, and I click Knockoff. There's not much else I can do. And I go for Knockoff again. Like, I'm just gonna let things happen. I could go into Rotom and sack it. Rotom's not helpful at all. Like, the most it does is burns T-Tar or Hydro Pumps or something. It's like, whatever. What was slightly risky here is if you really wanted to go for this baller play of, like, hoping that I don't have Shadow Sneak on Dewblade. He can go for DD here and hope I miss Hydro, but he doesn't. He just kills me, which is respectable. Maybe you go for that play because it's the only way he wins. But yeah, now I just get my free Shadow Sneak here. And a correction here, I go for Sword Stance, I believe. And this is completely the wrong play. You're just supposed to close combat this, because like, if you kill this, what the hell is Blissey doing to you? I guess it really doesn't matter in the end, because I still have Heracross in the back, who's just gonna win this game anyways, but like, it's still something I felt like to point out. And yeah, I just won the game from here. Blissey cannot take it. I felt like he played this very weirdly. He sacrificed way too much momentum on the Skarmory way too often, and I feel like the Weezing in those earlier parts of the game wasn't played as well either. Most certainly, I think Blissey, with especially Specs Starmie, if this Blissey had Teleport, that would have been like the best way to cripple my entire team, because I don't have Starmie switch-ins, period. Like, I'm almost sure if I swapped out into Rotom, I was gonna die from Analytic Specs Hydro Pump. I'm not even sure it's that powerful. So, yeah, I don't really know. My opponent did play well, is all I'm gonna say. And I think that Blissey needs to have Teleport, and you probably need to get rid of Haze on that, but I'm not here to criticize my opponent. Even though I already am, I guess. Anyways, I'm just gonna be on the next replay, and this replay is a bit strange. It's only the first month of Sword and Shield, not Sword and Shield UU, Isle of Armor UU, so I'm a bit skeptical about, or not skeptical, but like a bit new to what's even good in this tier. I didn't play UU even prior to Isle of Armor, so I don't know what the meta was like prior to that either, but, you know, I was looking at his team, and it looks weird. Like, I couldn't identify what was wrong with his team. It looked like too much setup, and it didn't look like it had enough core fundamentals. Like, to me, the only real pivot here is Rhyperior. And Rhyperior is more like a bulky attacker than it is a pivot. So, like, something was setting it off with this team, and I just didn't identify at the time that it was like a complete scam setup team. And this ranking, it's not that bad either. It's 1400, which it's above average. Or not above average, but it's like in that average range where you get past low ladder. So I didn't really know what to expect from this team. I knew entirely that I had to lead against Lycanroc because that's what the team was giving me. It was either like Suicide Lead Lycanroc or Suicide Lead Cloyster. But I was suspecting it was more Shell Splash Cloyster. Anyways, this is just another lead for Rotom. I could have gone Croak here, but I feel like the Rotom gave me more options just because I know this is Sash. Anyways, so I'm just gonna go ahead and Volt Switch out as he gets his Stealth Rock up, which is fine. I go Heracross here because Heracross outspeeds it, and I get the choice of what he brings in next. So either I can click like CC and I let the Necrozma come in, or I can click like Knock Off and let the Grimmsnarl in, or even maybe Mega Horn, although I don't know if Mega Horn kills. But here's a fatal mistake. I should have like done the calcs or recognized this myself, but Knockoff really shouldn't kill here, and I go for it anyways, which leaves to my Heracross usually getting punished by that, like by a Stone Edge or even a Cell Rock. Well, it didn't matter what move I clicked if actually it would, because I would take 2 Cell Rocks. But yeah, he goes for Taunt here, and I don't really know why he went for Taunts. I don't know if Heracross is like Sticky Web or something, or like Stealth Rock, or I don't know if he was expecting Sword Stance, but even if I was Sword Stance, like, I don't know, it just didn't feel like the right play to taunt me. I don't think there's ever a situation where I click a non-offensive move here, especially since I brought it in so aggressively. When I have like Crocodile, who would have taken it better, or even like Dewblade, who would have taken it better. I think it was obvious that I was telling no Scarf, so I don't know why he clicked Taunt. I go for Knockoff here, and it doesn't kill. Thankfully, I'm not punished, but still, I don't know why my opponent went for Taunt. Now Grimmsnarl comes out, and I'm like, I don't know what this does either. I'm still relatively frustrated here, and I don't know if this is how Grimmsnarl is normally played, but you know, there's like options of like bulk up or screens. It turns out he has screens, and he's gonna set up his screens right here. I'm like, okay, well, the Grimmsnarl probably wants to stay in for a while. It's pretty bulky, and all things considered, so I'll go ahead and throw Toxic on it. It's probably relatively safe. Here, I'm like, I think he's gonna swap out. I don't, like, he's Toxic now, and now he doesn't want to stay in. And I'm like, he might try to pivot here too, so I'll go ahead and go for the parting shot, and it cripples whatever comes in. I go for CC here, because I'm also definitely afraid of PZ. I have no clue what it wants to do. I know Gen 7 was much scarier because it's Z conversion, but it was like, it's probably gonna go for agility or something. I just didn't know what exactly. And I go for CC, because like I said, I'm not messing around with that thing. This does leave the Crossman to come in for free, as he rightfully goes into this. And I go to Instant, and I don't know what this Necrozma is gonna do. For the second time in this video, I forget Necrozma has Dragon Dance, so that's 2 for 2. I let people Dragon Dance on me. I'm like, oh crap, and I'm like, okay, I need to knock off this. I don't know what item it has. I thought like maybe it was like some Mind Plate, or I guess Mind Plate's not in, but details. I was like, I'm gonna scale the damage of knockoff and try to remove whatever item it has. And that's mistake number 1, because this happens, and I'm like, oh crap. And I'm like, I just need to let Incineroar die. So I go ahead and do that. I bring in Crook. Crook goes ahead and gets the Intimidate. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make a smart move. He's gonna go for Earthquake, so I'm gonna go to Rotom, and then I'll like double back into Crook. That fails, because he Dragon Dances again. I'm like, crap. So now I have to let the Rotom die too, and I've lost 2 mods to this Necrozma, and he's so set up. It's just overall super scary. I feel like though, like Crocodile is super bulky, so like he doesn't have a good stab move against me because I'm immune to it. I don't think Earthquake kills me, so I sort of bank on it, and I do live and revenge kill with the Earthquake. It like I wasn't too sure if it was gonna kill or not, but I am like fully vested into attack with a soft sand too, so like I figured it would kill. I go for knockoff here, just to make sure that his second barrier doesn't have Light Clay boosted on it. That's fine by me. And I also go ahead, I'm like, okay, I don't think he's gonna attack me. I feel like he's gonna go for Light Screen, which he doesn't, but this doesn't really change my situation, because I still because I still like don't get punished for this. He goes into PZ, and once again, I'm scared of setup. I like, after the Necrozma in the screens, I'm like, okay, this is like a full setup team. And so, because I am faster than PZ, I take the time to taunt him. I'm like, I'm not going to lose this. I kind of forgot PZ had Nasty Plot at the time, but I guess set was like Agility, Nasty Plot, Tri Attack, and then maybe Shadow Ball to beat Ghost types that would resist it. But yeah, I'm really glad I taunted here, because that prevented me a world of headaches. And I just let my Crocodile die. It's not going to do much at this point. It would just like, it'd do good damage, but yeah, I don't need it. And now I'm just like in complete Heracross mode, where like Heracross is gonna mess up this PZ. He goes in Rhyperior, and this is also where I choke again. I don't know, well, I'm pretty sure Heracross wouldn't be able to kill Rhyperior through a Reflect, even with the +1. So I go into Zelfie here, and this is actually a misplay. And the reason for that is because I, once again, don't know what my opponent's playing. My opponent has definitely shown, or my opponent shows that they're not playing very standard sets, or a standard team. So I have no reason to expect that this Rhyperior is nothing but standard. And so that's my mistake. I go here, and the reason why this is a mistake, I forgot to go into that, is because this could also be a setup Rhyperior, and this Rhyperior could also have like Fire Punch, Ice Punch, Mega Horn especially, and I could just lose to that and lose my good way of killing Cloyster thing, and I like don't recognize that in time. I switch into the Earthquake, which is fine. I go for a Nasty Plot here. It's what I have to do. He goes for Stone Edge. I barely live. I only live that because of leftovers, by the way. And yeah, I just like click Game Drain here. And I'm like, okay, well, Grimmsnarl probably comes in. And Grimmsnarl doesn't come in. I'm like, oh, so I've won this. He's not Boots, he's probably Sash on the Cloyster, and so I kill that for free. And because the doesn't have Sucker Punch, as unintentional cut.
Swap it in.
Like I said, swap it in.
This
Group Soul
Cloister.
didn't come in before, so that means it doesn't have Sucker Punch. It probably has like Knockoff or Darkest Larry or something. And that just means it's Zelfie once again. So, yeah, I mean, it definitely got thrown up by not recognizing what the team was or what the team was trying to do. And I still made some mistakes because I didn't account for everything. I guess it's something I should have been more open to about as soon as I saw like the like block. You can sort of tell where a player's mindset is because if their team is, I guess if their team is more similar to mine, they're probably gonna have a more straightforward mindset. They're probably gonna have like smoke on sets, stuff like that. If you see a team like this, they're probably going for more gimmicky wild stuff. So it's more what is it? More appealing to stay in the right mindset and look out for those other options when you're facing these kinds of teams. Anyways, that's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this type of style of commentary. And yeah, if you did, leave a like and comment, I guess. I'll leave the team in the description as well. It's not a great team, but if you want to play around with it, you can. Anyways, bye-bye.